Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hello, hello. Fiona Lukey's here, coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube on this day today, Friday, the 28th of November. At least it's Friday in Australia. I realise it's still Thursday for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere. And speaking of people in the Northern Hemisphere, just want to wish a very happy Thanksgiving to all of my American friends. I know this is a really big day of the year for you guys, big day in the calendar. I was talking about it with my Relatable students during the week and talking about some of the things they were planning for Thanksgiving. So I know this is a big day for you guys. So a very happy Thanksgiving to all of my USA friends. I hope that you're having a wonderful time celebrating or acknowledging, isn't it? It's giving thanks with family, friends, loved ones, etc. Hi, Lee. Hello, darling. Hello, sweet Fee. Oh, thank you, Lee. I can always feel the love emanating from you, honey, across the airwaves. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so I guess I wanted to start today's live off with, as I always do, please say hi. Let me know where you're listening from. I love to know where you're listening from. Probably don't expect to see too many Americans on the live today because you're obviously, I would imagine, celebrating Thanksgiving with family and friends. But if you are listening, I'd always love to know where you're listening from, etc. If you've got a question, pop it in the comments below. With these lives, I like to come in and reflect on, some of the things that have transpired with my Relatable students, because we run live calls. I'm on live calls with them twice a week. I'm communicating with them a lot. And my private clients and just things that happen in my own life, my own world. Hi at Heidi Cotton from Albany, WA. Hello. Thanks for saying hi. I really appreciate that. Nice to meet you. So I like to draw on those things. And the first thing I just want to say is, we had an incredible live call this Monday with my Relatable students. I run the calls on a Monday morning and a Wednesday evening just to cater for different time zones. And I was so moved by what was shared, the connection that was generated on that call. Like I was in tears at the end of it. I had to go and just sit quietly. I normally go and sit quietly with my dog and just process. And, the tears just fell. And not because I was upset, because I was so deeply touched and moved by the conversation that occurred on that call. And I am often deeply, deeply moved by the level of conversation and I guess it's the wisdom, the connection. I can't even put it into words to the places that we go and what we share on these calls. And hence why I call it, we call it our Relatable family. We are like, it feels like a family. It's a family. It is absolutely a family. They are my family. And I wanted to start off with that because I was at the gym this morning and, my mind often wanders when I'm at the gym. I'm, doing my thing, but my why, I don't know, there's something about being at the gym and doing repetitive exercise where my mind has an opportunity to just go wherever it needs to go. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast, but often I'm just in silence. I really appreciate the sound of silence. And again, another one of those beautiful gifts from this understanding, having this understanding in my life. And my mind wandered, as it does. Hello, Lynn. Oh, hello, Lynn. Always so lovely to see you on these lives. Thank you so much for saying hi. Lovely. I really appreciate it, Lynn, and appreciate you. And Craig. Hi, Craig. So nice to hear from you, Craig. I hope you're doing well. I hope the new house build is going well for you, Craig. And, that's all in full motion for you guys. It's very, very exciting for you and your family. So I hope that that's going well. Anyway, I was at the gym. My mind was wandering and I was thinking about how deeply moved I was by this call on Monday. And I don't know if anyone's ever had this experience before where you are so deeply moved and touched by something. And it can be the smallest of things, right? It often is. It's often the smallest of things that moves us the most deeply because, The extraordinary is made up of the ordinary, and the ordinary, or what we perceive as the ordinary, is the most profound. And I was reflecting on that, and I was thinking, when I'm deeply moved, I am so home within myself. I'm home. I'm so in my body. I'm so connected to myself. I'm so connected to everything. I'm so connected to all that is. To me, that's what being moved is. You get this incredible sense of being connected to all there is. There's no sense of separation. The sense of separation, which is an illusion anyway, right? Separation is an illusion. It falls away. The illusion of separation falls away. And you're just so connected to all there is. And I was thinking from there of what often happens when a new student joins my program. They're feeling very disconnected from all there is. And then through the family, through what we learn, through modules, through all sorts of different things that go on within that space, people come home. They do. They have a feeling and experience of home. And when we experience home, we feel that connection to all there is. And when we're in that state of connection, our insecurities fall away. They do. We can see through the illusion of them. And so the things that create barriers between us and love, barriers between us and connection, barriers between us and presence, they fall away. And that experience of having that fall away is so beautiful that I have this incredible sense of gratitude that I get to have that experience, as do our students and the people in our relatable family. So gratitude for actually having that experience, because I realize, that maybe it was they haven't experienced it since they were a child, or maybe they've never experienced it, right? And I was thinking of that, and I was thinking, when we are not in that experience, or we spend a lot of time in survival mode, which is what I think a lot of us do, it is a form of death. Like I was sitting there and thinking, it's so painful to live outside of that experience, and we can get so used to it, right? We get so used to it. That's the whole thing. When we normalize that, when we have a high tolerance for it, we don't realize how far away we are from that space. We've got no idea. And so we live our lives thinking that this is it, or this is as good as it gets, or maybe we have a sense that there's something more, but we got no idea of what that means. But you might have a sense that there's something more, there's something else. But we struggle to conceptualize that as human beings. We go into our logical, intellectual mind. Oh, hang on, it'd be helpful if I was speaking to my microphone, wouldn't it? We go into our logical, intellectual mind, and we don't have a sense of that. And when you have a sense of it, it. Like, there is no question what that is. You don't have to figure it out. You're not wondering anymore. It's such a deep knowing, because it's the knowingness of the soul. It's like your soul knows this, and it's like it's been waiting for you to experience it. Does that make sense? That's why we call it coming home. It's like, that's what home feels like. And once you experience it, you want more of it, because it feels so good. Like it is such a depth of feeling that that anything else feels like it pales into insignificance. And the reason I'm pointing this out to you is because so many of us in our relationships, we're so far from home, we don't realize it. And again, this is I'm not judging anybody. Believe me, I was so far from home for so many years, and I'd done that many programs. It didn't bring me home. It just brought me more in my head, more in my ego, more in my self-righteousness. It didn't bring me home. And I didn't even know that home was what I was looking for, by the way, either. So, I'm not pointing the finger at anything or anyone. But because I was so far away from home, I would get very stuck in my thinking. I would get very rigid in my rules, in my ideas, in my beliefs. I would get so caught up in what I believe was right. I would get so caught up in my reality that this is the way to do things. I got so caught up in controlling the narrative. And of course, whenever I'm in that state, when I look back to where I was, I think that is a form of death, because it's so far away from love. It's so far away from home. And I'm constantly in the creation of that. And I think this is why people often say when they have an experience of this and I start looking in this direction, that relationships become easy and effortless, because you start experiencing home, you want more of it, and anything that takes you away from that doesn't make sense anymore. Why would I go into self-righteousness when I can have this? Why would I want to control when it takes me away from home? Why would I want to live in fear when I can live in love? Right? And the contrast is so strong, right? It's so strong, it's so powerful, it's so overwhelming that it's like, I just want more of that. And all the reasons why you felt that you had to hold on to that, to stay safe, to do whatever, right? There's numerous reasons why we hold on to the walls we build around ourselves, why we hold on to the blockages that create disconnection. There's a numerous reasons. They just stop making sense. It's like, why would I do that? Why would I want to live in the experience of that when I can live in the experience of this? And to me, this is the foundation of all relationships. This is the foundation of connection. You know, we can talk about communication styles, personality types, date nights, attachment styles, all of that stuff. But if you don't have this foundation, right? If you don't have a knowingness of home, you don't have that contrast frame when you're a long way away from it, you can get caught up in all of those interesting pieces of information, because they're interesting. They satisfy our intellect. They give us something to grab hold of, and our intellect loves to do that. But it still doesn't give you what you need in terms of the capacity to see beyond the illusion of separation, to let go. And I mean truly put it down and then experience the lightness of that, to step into a state of love and keep looking in a state of love. Keep choosing it. Keep choosing that direction. And, you know, sometimes when we choose that direction, it means we walk away from things that are very uncomfortable, right? Choosing love doesn't always mean it's an easy road, right? Choosing love sometimes means I've got to let go of something that doesn't serve me, right? I've got to step into something else that does. Now, the capacity to do that we have is extraordinary. But in order to do that, you have to have a sense of trust in something bigger than you. Yes? You have to have a sense of trust in something bigger than you. It's very hard to have a sense of trust in something bigger than you if you've not had an experience of home, because that's what home is. It's like when I said I'm the connection to all there is, having that experience allowed me to let go. It was like I was holding on so tight to the steering wheel of life, like this. I was holding on because I've got to steer my own way, right? It's me against the world. I got to work this stuff out. I was holding on so tight, as I think so many of us do, because it kind of feels scary to let go, especially if you haven't had a sense of home. It feels scary to let go. So we hold on tighter and 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 tighter. And we wonder why life feels hard and heavy and we come up against the same things. The reason you come up against the same things is because you're coming up against your own stuff again and again and again. And because our own stuff makes so much sense, because we've been living in that state for years and years and years, that's what we do. We stay there because we're like, that makes sense. But once you start to have an experience of home and you have an experience of connection to all there is, that stuff, it no longer makes sense. And when something no longer makes sense, that is the easiest way to create change. And hence why I get the beautiful privilege every week of seeing, you know, the students in my relatable family have a sense of home, and then some of that stuff that they were holding on to, that the types of conversations they were having, the priorities they were giving to all sorts of things, just they look at it and like, why am I doing that? Why would I do that? Why would I want to be in the creation of that, the feeling of that, the experience of that, when I can be in the creation, the experience, the feeling of this? Now, that is why I feel like I can say that relationships can be easy and effortless. That Human beings really aren't complicated because we're all looking for home. We're all looking for the same thing, the exact same thing. We're all looking for the same thing. I've been doing this for a long, long time now, 15 plus years. I don't know how many people I've worked with, thousands, whatever. So I feel like I can say that I've not met one person who's not looking for this. They may not know what they're looking for, right? It may look like what they're looking for lies within another person or another place or another job or another body. It may look like it lies out here, but it doesn't, right? That's the thing that you discover. It's not out here. And to truly deeply know that, like truly deeply know that to the core of your being, to me, that's the foundation of everything in life. Everything in life. And then from there, you move and you love and you choose from there. Now, the day that I saw this and I started choosing that, my entire life turned around from in every direction, every direction. And I can't tell you the gratitude I have for that. And so that's why I come back to the point that I was making at the start of this live, that, when I look back at the space I was living on from for so long, it's a form of death. Because I was not alive. I was going through the motions. I was disconnected. I was holding on to that steering wheel so tight. I was so far away from love. I was choosing things that didn't serve me because I didn't understand this. I was innocently choosing things that diminished me, that diminished the people around me, that took me a long way from home. And now, for me, life is all about being home. When I'm home, everything flows. I connect with my husband. I'm in a loving state of mind. Gratitude just comes naturally. Like, I don't have to think about being gratitude. It's just there. It's in my being. I'm never bored, right? Never bored, because I get this experience of getting to be so present so often, right? You have to understand this. This is a very important thing about boredom, because a lot of people come to me and say, I'm bored in my relationship, or I'm bored in this, or I'm bored in that, right? Boredom is a state of mind issue. Boredom is a state of mind issue, and it is 100% someone who is bored is someone who is disconnected. They are not home and they've not had an experience of it. Very disconnected. And so it may look like the journey is something else, but I'm telling you, if that's you, if you're someone who's feeling bored with life, bored with your relationship, you are disconnected. You need to come home. You need to have that experience, because you'll never be bored again. Never be bored again. Hello. Okay, look at these lovely comments. Hello, Jody. Hi, nice to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you've had a beautiful Thanksgiving, honey. Good morning, Catherine. Oh, thanks for reminding us all of the direction home. Oh, thank you. Well, you're a big part of that too, honey. Lee, the feeling of home is indescribable with words. It's incredible. It really is, honey, isn't it? Hello, beautiful Fee. Hi, Nick. I'm so home today. It's such a beautiful, blissful feeling. Oh, that's so good to hear, darling. Thanks, Fiona. Building is a very slow process, but thanks to Relatable, I have much better patience to deal with it. It will happen when it happens. Good for you, Craig. Good for you. Good for you. So I wanted to talk about this. Sometimes when I'm my mind's quiet, and I'm like it was very quiet this morning at the gym in my head anyway. I knew I had the live coming up, and so I just put it out there. I said, what should I talk about today? What would be of service today? That's the question I ask, right? Before I do my live, I always ask, what would be of service today? What would help the greater good? And that's what I got. That's what I got shown. That's what I got told. So I went, okay, and I feel like I've been being shown this all week, and it started with that incredible Relatable call that we had on Monday morning. I'm going to go back and listen to it again. And it's been building all week. And then, that's the synchronicity of life, is that I I got up this morning, and that was like the nudge, the download, the whatever you want to call it, that I was given as I was at the gym. It's like, when you're not home, it is a form of death. It really is. And I know that might sound like an extreme thing to say, but the opposite of love, right? When you think about, so many of us are not in that space. And again, there's an innocence in us all. We don't know it. We can't see it. And we wonder what's missing, and we go looking for it out here, because we think that thing out here will fill up that sense of emptiness inside us, right? That feeling of whatever it is. And a lot of people would describe it. I spent a long time feeling like I was searching for something, but I didn't know what I was searching for. I did. I honestly, I felt like I was searching for something. I had that nagging feeling that was with me for years, that there's something missing. I don't know what it is. This was after I'd had my, I've got 4 children, but after I'd had my first 2 children, so it didn't get satisfied by having children. It was still like, what is it? And it was only when I came across this understanding and I started to get a sense of home, and I went, that's what I've been missing. That's it. That feeling of connectedness to all things, having faith and trust in something bigger than me, in being in a loving state of mind. I mean, there's so many different ways to describe this, right? It's so many ways to describe this. But to me, it's the foundation of everything. It's the foundation of well-being, love, life, your life force, all of it. And to me, this is what we come here for, is to have that experience. This is the essence of all things. And I just wish everybody knew you won't find it out here. You won't find it out here. Hey, Leanne. Hi, darling. Hi, Fiona and Co. I love how simple and clearly you explain this experience of connection to self and source. Similar experience here. My life has changed so much. Life is full of the ordinary moments which I missed continually before. Forever thankful to you, Fiona. Oh, thank you, Leanne. Such a beautiful soul, honey. Thank you. I so appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, honey. Hello. K-pop queen. Hello, how do I ask a question? Just type it in the comments, K-pop queen. I'd love to get a reading. I don't do readings, K-pop queen. But you're more than welcome to ask a question in the comments. Just pop it in the comments, just like you've done here, and I'll answer for you. So I just want to check in for anyone who's been listening so far. Is this making sense? Is this something that you've thought about? Is this something that you can see is very, very, very important? Is anyone getting a sense of what I'm talking about? And if you've got a question about it, feel free to ask me. Or if you've got a question about anything else, feel free to ask me. That's what I'm here for. But that's what I was guided to share with you today. And to me, that is the difference when I talk about building a relationship from the ground up versus the top down. Relationships are built from the ground up. They are not built from the top down. So when I talk about ground up, I mean someone who has a sense of home, right? Imagine how well that person handles conflict, how much easier they'd find it to get over themselves, how easy it is for them to let something go, how they are going to be someone who doesn't walk around with all this emotional residue that they drop into a conversation or an argument when it makes sense, when it suits them to do so. Something I used to do a lot, like I want you to understand the ramifications of that. And then the other thing that just emanates when someone is home is their energy changes, right? And our energy has an enormous impact on the quality of our relationships. Massive. Way more, right? Way more than anything else, right? Way more than anything else. And this is something we don't understand, and it's an enormous blind spot for people. People don't understand and don't have a sense of their own emotional energetic frequency, right? And so, of course, if you don't understand your own energetic frequency, then you will keep projecting the same frequency, and you'll wonder why people around you respond the way they do, or you're in the same circular patterns in your life and in your relationships. Okay, it's imperative that you have an understanding of your own energetic frequency. And it's so interesting. I was sharing this with my students in the WhatsApp group this week. I watched Cesar Millan videos. He's a dog behavioralist based in the US. And I think he's just wonderful. And I learn so much from watching them, and I find they resonate so deeply. But he's all about energy. You'll get these dogs that are what he calls in the red zone, that are considered dangerous and aggressive. And what he does to help that dog is to show the owner, to help the owner understand their own emotional frequency, right? From the way they hold their body to even, the energy that comes through the leash to the dogs. The dog's in complete attunement with that. And it's the same with horses. Like, if you think about it, this is true of every living thing. And when we don't understand that enough, I can have, for example, I can have a really good understanding of attachment styles, right? I can have a really good understanding of rapport, of how to build rapport. I can have a really good understanding of communication techniques. But if I don't understand my own energetic frequency and what I'm projecting and generating, if I don't understand that, do you think those things are going to help me? Like, I really want you to think about this. Do you think those things are going to help me? If my energetic frequency is the same, but over the top of that, I'm trying to create rapport, or I'm trying to say the right things, or I'm trying to be understanding of, attachment style theory, all the different, there's so much information out there around this. If I'm trying to do all of that, but my energetic frequency is the same, what do you think is going to happen? I'd love it if you want to pop it in the comments below. What do you think is going to happen if my energetic frequency stays the same, or I'm unaware of it, right? And so I think I'm in a loving state of mind, but maybe I'm trying too hard. Do you know what I mean? Because you hear this a lot, right? People will come to me and say, "Oh, my wife told me that, she doesn't love me anymore," or "My husband's walked out on me, and I've been doing everything I can to show them that I can change. I want things to be different." But you can feel in their emotional frequency, right? That I'm trying creates the opposite of what they're trying to achieve. They're trying so hard. They're almost their energy is pushing someone away. That's what it is. It's pushing someone away. That's what their energy is doing. And so you end up in this chasing cycle where you're chasing someone. And the more you chase, the more they run. Because chasing energy, right? Think about it. The energy of chasing, of trying, of efforting, what does it do? I want you to think about it. What does it do, right? It pushes. It pushes. It doesn't invite in. It pushes. And if someone's already in that state of mind, it just keeps pushing them away. Even though you're trying all this stuff, you're saying all of the right things. It's fascinating to me, right? It's you think about the energetic frequency of that. But I'm trying so hard. I'm saying all the right things. I bought them flowers. I'm cleaning the kitchen. I'm doing the laundry. I've organized a date night. I just want you to think, like, I'm exaggerating it, but this is how it feels for someone else. It's like the other people are like, whoa, right? And again, it's very innocent. But when we don't understand those things, we can be trying and efforting, effort, push. But all it does is create the complete antithesis of what we're trying. K-pop queen, I'm not the person to ask those questions about how your son's doing, etc. I can certainly answer questions about relationships or what I'm talking about, but I can't sit here and tune into your I presume that's your son's energy. That's not what I do, but there are certainly people out there that can help you with that for sure. Yeah, that's right. At Hetty Cotton, yeah, you're not going to connect. You're going to, yeah, Leanne, you're going to create the same results. Catherine, yes, it will be met with resistance. It will. Yep, Leanne, it's desperation, it's clinging, all of these things. All right. Jody, I can see that now easier where I was so blind to it before. Yeah. And that's the wonderful thing, right? That's why we call it the gift of awareness, because as your awareness increases, you see, your ability to see increases. And so instead of going through life like this, you go through life like this. Now, what do you think happens when you're someone going through life like this versus going through life like this? What do you think happens when you're here versus when you're here? When your state of mind is here versus when your state of mind is here. Just that alone, right? Just that alone will transform your relationships. Why is that? Why will that transform your relationships? Think about it. I'm going through life like this versus when I'm going through life like this. My mind is open. It's expansive. I've got awareness of how my energy is. I've got a sense of home. What do you think is going to happen? What kind of energy am I going to be creating? What kind of thinking do you think I'm going to have access to? What do you think is going to happen to the energetic frequency of my heart? And how is that going to radiate out in the world? Many truths for me with your message today. Oh, that's awesome, Lynn. Thanks for sharing that. And Heidi Cotton, you're going to be understanding other people's perspectives. Yes, 100%, 100%. But it's going to go even deeper than that. It's going to go even deeper, because do you know what's going to happen? When you're in that state of mind, your capacity to step into another human being's reality will be mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Your capacity to step inside someone else's reality and look at life through their lens. Like, you will literally step in there and you'll see it. You'll see it from their lens. Now, what do you think happens when you see life that way, so clearly through someone else's lens? What do you think happens? Because this is something people really struggle with, because they're so married to their own reality. They're so married to their thinking. They're so married to their perspective. They're so married to that. Like, when I say married, I mean like this is all they see. And anytime they're asked to look at someone else's perspective, it's like, oh yeah, but. There's a but, or there's a, yeah, I know about that, and it gets skimmed over. You know, I was sharing about this last Friday that I'd been doing this. I've been working with this couple for 4 days. They came and stayed down near where I live, and we spent 4 days together. And, I think on the second day, he sat down and I said, how are you doing, blah, blah, blah. And he said to me, I can't believe this, Fiona, but I feel like I don't know my wife. I thought I did, but I discovered things yesterday because I've been helping him step into her reality. And he said that have just blown my mind, in the sense that I thought I knew my wife, but I don't. There are things about her I discovered yesterday that I did not know. He said, I'm gobsmacked by that. And this is what happens when you step into someone else's reality. But, now imagine, when you think about this, if you were someone who was really good at stepping into someone else's reality, what do you think happens to your ability to connect, to communicate, to love, to like all of it? Right? It becomes organically natural and easy because you get it. I say this all the time. With enough understanding, there is no conflict. Right? Conflict only exists in an absence of understanding. With enough understanding, conflict disappears. Now, the greatest way to develop a deep understanding is to step inside someone else's reality. But we struggle with it, right? A, because we're not home. B, because our reality looks like all there is. And C, because our minds are here. We don't know this, of course. Our minds are here when there's all this available that we don't even know about. So this is why this matters so much. It matters so much. Leanne, yep, you get a greater perspective 100%. A greater perspective is such a gift. It's such a gift. It's a gift for you and it's a gift for everyone in your life. Because here's the thing, when you have a greater perspective, sorry, my husband's calling me, bless him. When you have a greater perspective, people feel seen, right? When you have a greater perspective of someone else, when you can step into their reality, that person feels seen. Do you know how much people want that? Crave it to feel seen? How much it's missing in our relationships? How much like people just don't understand how important that is, and then they don't know how to do that? Because often it's really hard for someone else to feel seen when you're justifying your reality. It's very hard for someone to feel seen when you are too busy explaining why you feel the way you do. Yes? Because when you're justifying your reality and you're explaining why you've just done that thing, no, but I need you to understand, right? Yeah, I know you're upset, but I need you to understand, right? Sound familiar? Conversation maybe that someone's had before with friends, parents, partners, kids. You're still making it all about you. And so that person doesn't feel seen. And so connection doesn't get established. Goodwill falls through the floor. People don't feel good around each other. Now, you can have all the tools in the world, but if you don't know the power of the person that you love feeling seen by you, you're just sniffing at the fumes. Really, you are. There's just so much more on offer than that. And when I say on offer, I mean for you to experience, for the other person, and for that relationship. And this is the stuff that I want people to know about, because I feel like we don't know what else is on offer. We really don't. We don't know. And so because we don't know, we kind of put up with this, survival mode or feeling of like, that what I started talking about today, which is that when we're not home, it's like it's like a death. We're not understanding of that. We stay in this state, and even though we know there's something missing and something niggles and it doesn't quite feel right, we're kind of like, oh well, this is it. This is as good as it gets. And I'm telling you, it's not. There is so much more on offer. And I want everyone to experience that, because I believe that's what will change the world. I truly do. That's what will change the world. If more people had a sense of home, like truly had a deep knowingness of it, I believe the whole world would change. The level of consciousness of the world would change. The energetic frequency of the world would change. We would choose love over fear. We would choose love over efforting. We would stop seeing everything as in a hierarchy the way we do, which is an illusion. Okay. No one is better than you. No one. No one is more deserving of you. No one. No one. I don't care what you have or haven't done. No one is better. No one is more worthy than you. No one. That is a complete illusion that there is a hierarchy. There is no such thing. It's a very human, made-up thing designed to keep people small and fearful. You are so much more than that. And when you get a sense of home, you see the truth in it. Once you've seen and experienced truth, you never forget it. And you take it with you everywhere you go for the rest of your life, everywhere you go. Because truth can never be forgotten. Never. Opinions, techniques, strategies, information, yeah, that gets forgotten all the time. But truth, no. Truth resonates deeply with your soul. It goes straight through the intellectual mind, takes you somewhere else. And you put down all of that crap that keeps you disconnected and small. And when you put it down, your relationships transform. Your well-being transforms. You choose that direction I was talking about at the start of this life. You choose it all the time. It's like it doesn't make sense not to. It just doesn't. That's what I want for everyone. Truly, that's what I want for you. I want that for you, for everybody. I want everyone to have a sense of that. Okay. Well, I've managed to, I seem to always hit the 40-minute mark. Anyway, it'd be a miracle if anybody listens to this for full 40 minutes. I know how short our attention span is on social media these days, but I want to say a big thank you to you. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you. Hey, Leanne, we have greater understanding and compassion. Yeah, we do. We can hear clearly without agenda. Yes. Yeah, no agenda. How cool is life without an agenda? Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, Catherine, you'll be able to see the true essence of others. Yeah. Because you see it in what you see in you see in others. If you can't see it in you, it's hard for you to see it in someone else. Yes, perspective and bandwidth. Yeah. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, everyone. I truly hope this has been helpful. And if you would like to, join our Relatable family, our very, very special Relatable family, and it is such a special place. I will put the link up for you shortly. Here it is here. You can find out more about it here. Some of you have messaged me and said, Fiona, you're doing a Black Friday sale this year. I'm not. So if you're waiting for me to do it, there's no Black Friday sales this year. I say every year, I don't know if I'm going to do one. This year I'm not doing one for various reasons. So if you want to join Relatable, there's the link. There's the info there. Love to have you join our family. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Sending you all so much love. I'll see you next Friday when we will be in December. So we're in the countdown towards the end of the year. I've probably only got about another 2 or 3 lives before we get to the end of 2025. So if you've got a question you want me to answer, I promise I'll get back to answering questions next week. I'll focus on that. So if you've got a question, send it to hello@fionalukis.com.au. Okay, thank you, everyone. Sending you all love. Ciao.